breaking news in the NFL, broken moments ago by Fox Sports' Jordan Schultz. And again, this is not earth-shattering, expected. Kyle Shanahan said it after the game yesterday. This was the fear. It's a huge loss for a Niners team that's reeling right now off their 958th consecutive loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, including Super Bowls. Niners star wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk, torn ACL, will miss the remainder of the season. So Brandon Aiyuk done for the year for the San Francisco 49ers, who are 3-4 through their first 7 games of the year. A game out of first place in their own division. The Seahawks win yesterday in Atlanta. Seattle now is 4-3. The Niners will host the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football in a game that is just, wow, just burgeoning content. Can't wait for it. And I know Femi Abebefe can't wait for it either as a Dallas Cowboys fan and someone who loathes the very team that he roots on. Femi, we got to spend a couple minutes talking about Aiyuk here, and then we can maybe get to some thoughts on Monday Night Football, just to reiterate what we've talked about over the last week. But I tell you that Brandon Aiyuk is out for the year, and you say what?
Congratulations on the Los Angeles Rams for winning the 2024 NFC West Division. That's what I'll tell you. That's what I'll tell you.
Femi, victory lap on the Rambley for yesterday. So like, I give you credit, man. Dude, I give you credit. I want you to sing because you have a great voice. And also, I love it. Like, Rams won yesterday. You got, like, the best. I mean, Seattle did win, which like, but whatever. Your handicap was more about San Francisco.
A little bit of cold water.
The Rams win. San Francisco loses. We are Ramley. Like, you love this bet, right?
I love it. And, like, the whole thought process, like, I didn't know Aiyuk was going to get hurt. Like, obviously, that sucks for Aiyuk. Like, hopefully, speedy recovery, all that stuff. But the whole premise of the bet was I felt that the teams are much closer together in the standings, and the market had it priced as if, like, the Rams had no shot whatsoever to win the division, and it was like a 3-team race. And clearly, just after like 3 days, that's not the case because now there's no Aiyuk the rest of the way for the Niners, and we'll have that conversation. But the Niners now have 4 losses. Seattle's at 4-3. It's a coin flip game tonight for Arizona between the Cardinals and the Chargers. If the Chargers win this game, hey, we're sitting here and it's like, all right, the Rams are what, a game back, and they still have 2 games against Seattle.
I like the Chargers, Femi. I like the Chargers tonight. So I think you're going to get. I think you're going to get the result you want tonight for your Rams bet.
100%. Like I like the Cardinals just from like a bet like tonight's standpoint, but just from a long haul thought process, and also like what the favorite outcome is. The favorite outcome, even though it's slight, is that the Chargers win the football game. So I think if you're betting, like we talked about last week during the Femi's Focus segment, if you're betting the Rams, you were price shopping them at big prices to win the division because things could definitely compress as they already have just 3 days later.
And I got something for you here, Femi. I got something for you to support your point. This just broke via ESPN's Adam Schefter. So DK Metcalf, who had 4 catches for 99 yards and a touchdown at the end of the third quarter, Seattle's 34-14 win yesterday in Atlanta, left the game with a knee injury. Per ESPN's Adam Schefter, Metcalf is being called week to week with that knee injury, and the Seahawks this coming week host the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo is currently a 3-point road favorite in the game. Total is 48. Like, I really think that I don't know if the expectation was Metcalf is going to miss the game. So just 2 things here. Number 1, helps your thought, right? And I want you to talk about that. Yes. Metcalf may be out for this week and multiple weeks potentially. This number is going to go to 3.5, right? With Buffalo and Seattle.
I would guess so. Like that's kind of where I'm looking right now. I'm like, I think if you can find a 3 minus 110, you want to be betting that with the Buffalo Bills. Like DK Metcalf,
I'm on
he's
the
not
way.
Everything. But he's a lot to that Seahawks passing game. He and Geno Smith have a really good connection. And if they're now much more likely to lose that game, the team that's in first place right now, Seattle, if they fall to 4-4, the Niners expected to get to 4-4. Like the division leaders are going to be sitting there at 500. Like this is a division that's wide open. And that was my thought process after seeing the Niners lose yesterday, then also seeing Aiyuk go down with the injury. Like this is a wide open division that is up for grabs. I think to bet on a team that has a head coach like McVay and a quarterback like Stafford, you can do a lot worse. And oh, by the way, that team happens to be getting a whole lot healthier. Cooper Kupp, welcome back. He's expected to play Thursday night when the Rams play the Vikings, and they're also going to get
you need the Rams
in November. Like I need
the Rams. I gotta tell you, just for everybody, like watching the game on Thursday, we'll all have our bets on it. We can all watch knowing that no matter what we bet on the game, no one will be sweating the Rams like Femi will on Thursday night in the Kevin O'Connell versus Sean McVay, like mentor versus mentee game.
It's like watching my 2 kids, the Rams and the Vikings, the 2 teams that I've loved the most Thursday night football in front of everybody. If the Rams ever won that game, then we're really cooking with gas here. But even then, like the division games are the ones that are most important for Los Angeles, and they still get 2 against Seattle, and they still have another one against Arizona. They already beat the Niners earlier this season. So for me, I think it's wide open. You can still get like plus 500 around that price to bet the Rams. I still think that's a good number, even though it's come down considerably from where it was last week. But I think the Rams are definitely live to win this division.
Well, I can tell you right now at BetMGM that this number is starting to get bet into, even like the division market, where when we came out of, went into commercial break there, and Bill put the news in the chat about Aiyuk, San Francisco, and again, it's not a huge move. San Francisco was minus 135 to win the NFC West, even a game out at 3-4 and below 500. The Niners currently minus 125 to win the NFC West, so 10 cents of movement going. Perhaps that was Femi betting the Rams. At BetMGM right now, San Fran minus 125, Seattle plus 260, Arizona at 5-1. Obviously, we'll see what happens in tonight's game against the Chargers. Will influence that price tomorrow. And the Rams at plus 950. Maybe I'm really stubborn right now, and I need to just really accept that San Francisco is going to be up against it here. And Christian McCaffrey not expected back until like early November, so he's going to miss at least a couple more weeks for San Francisco. I still think this is the best team in the division, and I will acknowledge that I do need to think about this a little more. Like, I'm not willing to say right now, like, this is definitely a bet for me. I do think that they're still the best team. I think, with apologies to Matthew Stafford, who's on way the back nine of his career, he doesn't look good, by the way, physically. He does not look good. He did not look good in that game yesterday, which doesn't mean that they can't still win games, just that he looks physically shot at this point in his career. With apologies to Stafford and Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy's the best quarterback in this division. Kyle Shanahan's the best head coach in this division. And I like him a little better than Sean McVay.
Yeah.
Like them both.
Debatable, yeah.
You know what? It is debatable. It's so debatable that I almost said McVay instead of Shanahan. It is pretty debatable. It's close. Flip a coin. I'll still take San Francisco here if you made me pick right now. And we can play like the schedule game with the win total currently sitting at 9.5, the adjusted win total for San Francisco at some point, maybe later in the show. But I think we both think they're going to win on Sunday night against Dallas. Maybe not cover, but we like them to win.
Mm-hmm. When do you think McCaffrey's coming back? Because I did hear like maybe post bye week, November 10th-ish, around that time. Do you think that he actually comes back in November? And also when he comes back, what does that look like? Load management? Is it full go? Like how do they handle this McCaffrey thing? Because they're going to be up against it. They can't be thinking, let's rest him for the playoffs. They have to get into the playoffs.
Well, he's on like some like Euro steroid, right? Like he went to Germany for like the Kobe treatment.
Yes, he did go to Germany.
Yeah, he's going to be like, he's probably going to be better than ever.
Yeah. Dallas is coming off of the bye. San Francisco, of course, they lose Brandon Aiyuk now for the season. That was reported earlier this afternoon, coming off the loss to Kansas City. How are you squaring this one up? Because the Niners laying 5.5. Is that where you're going? Or is it Dallas, who looked atrocious prior to the bye week, getting their tails kicked by the Detroit Lions?
I can't get to 5.5 with Dallas. I played some 6 last night. I think this is one where I took a shot early because I expected the Aiyuk news. I don't know exactly what's going on with Deebo Samuel, but even if he is available, he's a question mark in terms of being able to make it through the game anyway. It sounds like Juwan Jennings is going to go. Does not sound like there's any reinforcements coming from the running back position right now for the Niners. And maybe most interesting of all, and I'm curious what your guys' take is on this, but Trey Williams threw a punch at the end of that game against the Chiefs, got thrown out. And sometimes when that happens at that stage of the game, even if it's like, there's like, it's explainable and he's a high profile name, it's not as much about the punishment being just, like a quarter of football. He may get suspended in this one. So keeping my ears to the ground for that one. Expecting Micah Parsons will be announced available for the Cowboys here. Expecting the Cowboys in general not to look nearly as useless as they did against the Detroit Lions. For whatever reason, the Cowboys play a little bit more unencumbered when they're on the road. I am pulling for you and your Rams NFC West bet, certainly. And this would be a huge, kind of another blow to the Niners' chances if they lose this game. But I had a bunch of positive Niners bets that I made a couple weeks ago before they lost to the Cardinals. And now after the Cardinals loss and the Chiefs loss, I'm pretty much ready to write off the Niners, expecting them to do anything this year. And maybe it's a little premature.
I still think they're going to win the division.
Very tough. It's such
I still like them to win the division.
Yeah. They have a tough road, and it's just the NFL seems to get what they want when it comes to
what's the suggestion?
Super Bowl
here?
hangover. And for whatever reason, just the injuries have not, but it hasn't broken well. It hasn't worked out well for these guys so far this season.
Rigged?
And now, no, I'm just saying the way they set the schedule
That's
up.
what I'm saying. I'm just saying, no,
like
I'm just saying, like, someone listening to that would be like, is he saying it's rigged? I just had to ask. I had to
I'm
ask.
I'm saying like the NFL, like they like, hey, if you lose the Super Bowl, they're gonna give you bad sequencing. They're gonna give you already have tough opponents if you're a division winner. And I think that the fact that the Niners have now fumbled 3 very winnable games this season is a huge problem. The rest of the NFC is running away from them. And, if the Niners, even if they do kind of squeak through in the NFC West, which right now I think minus 125 is a bet against, I would make them like more in the plus 120 range. I think that you're talking about a 4 seed. So one home game, and then you're road warriors for 2 straight to try to trying to beat some of the go toe to toe with some of the elite offenses in the NFL. Niners to me look like I'm not ready to stick a fork in them by any stretch of the imagination, but they're like in Bills last year territory, where if they don't put together like sustained winning streak down the home stretch, then they got a problem. And honestly, like Brock Purdy's he's no Josh Allen.